The season premiere of Next Level Chef has just ended, but we are getting started. Welcome to the official, unofficial Next Level Chef podcast.
I became an artist, and thank God I did, because we are the only profession that celebrates what it means to live a life.
We back, baby. I am back for another season. I'm so excited to podcast about my favorite show that's on TV. If you love food, if you love being inspired by regular individuals, or if you just love food cooking competitions, then this podcast is for you. I'm not going to take too much time. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. My name is Honest Am. I am the creator and writer of the Honest Sis newsletter that just recently got turned into a podcast. So if you love what you hear or you want to hear more about me, please make sure that you go ahead and check out www.honestlysis.com or go ahead and stick around and explore this YouTube page because I am all about TV, and a little bit of life. Okay. All right, y'all. So we are back again. These are my properties, Dear Showrunner, which is where you will find this show under this current umbrella, as well as the Honestly Sis newsletter, as well as the podcast. Like I mentioned before. Our mentors, we have our wonderful Naisha Arrington, Chef Gordon Ramsay back, as well as Richard Blaze, just Blaze, the returning champion. And he is definitely coming to talk his shit. Naisha is down 2 seasons in a row, so we are really looking for her to come back. All right, so this week, the challenge. What are we talking about this week? This week, we are all in the audition rounds. And this week, we are going to get to know our professional chefs. And so, because this season, I want to really focus more on the stories that are being told, focus more on the individual chefs, as well as the judges. I'm not going to get too much into showing you guys the food pictures. So just know that if you are listening to this on your favorite podcast device, then there's nothing that you need to worry about. You're not missing out on too many pictures. But for our people that you are watching this on YouTube, every now and then I may throw in a really cute picture that really excites me. So where are we at? Before we even get into the challenge, I do want to let you guys know we are in our 5th season of Next Level Chef. These it's going to be 20 it's going to be 15 chefs. We're starting with 24. Out of the 24 chefs, 15 chefs will be able to go on to be divided into teams of 3. So they will either be on Chef Naisha Arrington team, they will be on Richard Blaze team, or they will be on Chef Gordon Ramsay team. What they are competing for is a mentorship, a year-long mentorship with every one of the judges. I'm sure it's like a rotation, as well as $250,000. Team Blaze, as I said, is the current champs, and Blaze is just feeling himself. He's talking about how he want a gold chain, a gold belt, like all types of stuff. She said she's been eating her veggies, and Gordon is just like so unfazed. He's so ready to get his title back. And so we start off in the basement. This basement challenge, again, we're starting off with the pro chefs. We're going to start off with 7 pro chefs. We're going to end with 5. And from those 5, they're going to be divided on our teams. In the basement, Kevin said that it has a smell, which I swear, if we ever get a chance to interview anybody from Next Level Chef, I'm going to ask them like, what does the basement smell like? Also, a little bit of a footnote. I love Next Level Chef so much that I watched Next Level Baker. If you did not get a chance to watch it, it was a Hollywood. It was a holiday special or a holiday kind of like limited series. It was really quick. I want to say it was no more than like maybe 4 or 5 episodes, maybe 6. I don't know. Don't quote me on it, but it was really quick. But it was also really fun. It had Carla, of course, Gordon Ramsay, and then there was one other like pastry or big name bakery chef. I apologize for not knowing her name, but I just really thought that Carla was just like the best mentor ever. I loved her so much, and I was just like, oh my god, I would love for her to be like judge on Next Level Chef. Like, I'm not trying to push out any Naisha or Gort. Like, I love all of them. I actually just really love this show, but it was something about Chef Carla mentoring style that just really, really spoke to me, and I loved her a lot. But that was really if you didn't watch that, go check it out. Now, let's go on to the basement. And the other reason why I brought that up is because there was a lady on there, an older lady, who was just like super her in the basement were, like, bonding, and it was, like, this little weird creepy doll down there, so it made me wonder, like, what is with the basement? Does it smell? Is it as bad as they say it is? Anyway, so the basement challenge is all about taking trash to treasure. They have 20 minutes. It's a little 5-yard sprint to get them to the grab, and the first thing that happened is that we actually get a tussle over a tuna carcass. Like, I'm sure neither one of them women was like, "I never thought I would fight over tuna carcass," but they really between Cole and Gabrielle, they were really going back and forth. And in the process of it, we thought that Gabrielle had like maybe ripped her earring because there was like some red liquid dripping from her ear. And it turned out to be fucking sriracha. Like it was so funny just all like the way that Blade, like the way that they edited Blaze be like, yeah, just sriracha. It was very funny, but I did not like, I'm just gonna, we're getting into it. I didn't like that Gabrielle kind of made it seem like we knew that it was only sriracha, but then when Gordon came down there, she tried to be like, oh, you gotta go with the punches. Like, girl, it was just sriracha. You didn't survive anything. You didn't go through anything. Like, it was sriracha. Let it go. But anyway, so we go into the grab, and now we are learning we're getting introduced to our pro chefs. And the pro chefs that we get introduced to is Darian. Darian is a pro chef that has been cooking for 13 years. He said he sleep less and he work more. He has 2 restaurants that really has his family heavily involved. He also cooks for Buffalo Bill players, and he is Jamaican. I actually really have my eye out for Darren. At first, I thought he was just like the Jamaican, island kid, but he really surprised me, spoiler alert, when he made it to the top level. So definitely somebody to look at. Next, we got introduced to Belinda. She was very fun, very vibrant personality. She was raised by her grandparents. She was raised by her grandparents, and she felt like she was so much that all of her aunties and uncles had to like basically like pitch in to take care of her. She comes from, of course, an immigrant background. She was in an apartment, 9 people in a 3-bedroom apartment. Like, just think about that. But despite her humble beginnings, she still was able to begin her own career, starting her own catering company. And she also has a pop up company where she curates experiences for people, which I thought was really, really cool. And she also has just like a very fun personality. Next up, we got to meet Hunter, who is from the island. One thing that I noticed, they didn't really say, like, if Hunter and maybe you can correct me in the comments if I got this wrong, but they didn't really say, like, if he had a restaurant or what was going on. But one thing about Hunter is from the island of Hawaii. He was born with his 10% chance of surviving, and he just started to cook. He also said that he was in the water, he was like a rower in the water, like, that's really big. If you watch White Lotus season 1, it really was all based in Hawaii, and it talks about, like, the rowing teams and how, like, it really is a big thing. One thing that he really talked about that I loved a lot is about feeling the water and being balanced, and talking about stopping never stop paddling and always finish strong. Now, when we get to the bottom once we get out of this basement, we have like some good dishes. So they got 20 minutes to make these dishes. The top dishes for me out of the basement was Connor. He made this beautiful open cod sandwich that really gave you kind of like that New Orleans feel, like a po' boy, basically. Then we had Cole. She, after fighting for that broth, she made this beautiful kind of Asian inspired broth with that tuna, like tuna meatballs, really beautiful, great presentation. And then Machete, he made this curry that I thought was really good. Our bottom 2 out of the basement end up coming down to Belinda and Hunter. Now, what can we learn that we learned from Belinda at this stage of the competition that I'm definitely going to bookmark towards the end. But let's go ahead. So from this competition, I say for this level of competition, but we end up losing Belinda, she did, like, this shrimp open face sandwich, and because she had to compete with Connor, it was just really no comparison, and she ended up going home. But in my notes, I was just really like, "Was Hunter really, really a private chef?" Like, I don't know. His dishes did not look professional, they looked kinda put together. And I was just really kinda disappointed. I honestly don't even know how he made it out the kitchen, but I really think it's because they had to compare, like, Connor's open face sandwich to Belinda's, and, like, it just didn't work out for her. So we end up losing Belinda, and then we go on to the next level. Now we are in the middle level kitchen, and we have Chef Nyesha Arrington coming over to kinda mentor the contestants and get them ready. The middle level kitchen, the challenge is all about creating a dish to help begin their culinary career. And so, as we start to grab, once again, Gabrielle falls. Like, she falls. I'm just like, literally in my notes, I wish I could see this. I say, this girl is not made for this life. Like, she is just like falling all over the place. Like, I don't know. It's something about her that I'm just like, I don't know if we're giving prediction, but I predict that she'll be gone within the first 3 weeks once we start the competition. So we get to our middle level, but which I'm not saying that I guess we'll have to see how the other chefs are. But to me, it's just something about I don't know, like, she don't have she's just, like, falling all over the place, but she was making, like she made some handmade tortillas, she made hand-pulled pasta, so it's like we can tell she has these techniques, but I'm just concerned, like, about her mental state as well as her agility. It's like, "Girl, you the good, you got to fight one time, fall in the other, like, you gotta get it together." But then we end up meeting Connor, who has already became one of my personal faves, and I'm hoping he ends up on either Team Naisha Arrington or Team Blaze. But Cole is from Manhattan Beach, California, and he talked about about how even though he's a California boy, he realized that that was really a bubble for him, and so to come out of that bubble, he went down to New Orleans and, like, that's where we were able to see, like, the beginning of his that's where he got that inspiration for, like, the basement dish, but he said, like, New Orleans really, like, helped him create his career, and he's been doing this, for a long time, which they always kill me when they're like, "I've been doing this for a long time," and they're like, "I'm 30." It's like like, how long have you really been doing this? Next up, we got to meet Machete, which actually is so funny when I was looking at these, when I was pulling these pictures, they said his real name is like Trinidad or Trinidad, something. It's so funny, but I'm like, wow, like Machete, you was gonna have a unique name no matter what. But I love him so much because he has literally a tattoo that says conquer your dreams across his forehead. He has a snullet or a skunk. I don't know what the fuck it is. I've never seen anything like that before. He's constantly throwing out hip hop lyrics. He's from Houston. I love him. I'm looking forward to seeing how far he's gonna go. He actually started to get his skills for cooking out of a CIA cookbook. What's the name of the cookbook, Machete? And should we all be getting this cookbook? But so he started reading that, and then he started selling these like tacos for $1, and from there he was able to move and get his own restaurant, get his own food truck, and like now he has been voted Houston, I think, best place for tacos 5 years in a row. So shout out to him. Also, something else that he said that I thought was pretty funny was like when he was describing how he had the tattoos with his grill, and he was like, "Can't go back to corporate now." Bookmark that. We gonna talk about it in our lessons. Last but not least, we met food truck, and then, like, literally not even a month or 2 later, somebody ended up stealing his food truck, and he's, like, just still in that process of, like, recovering and, like, really trying to reignite his passion for cooking. Because I can imagine that would take a lot out of anybody. Next up, we meet Gabrielle, who is the youngest of 8. She talked about her parents being restaurateurs, which is that a fancy word for saying, like, restaurant owners or, like what does that mean? But anyway, she talked about, like, how her father, they owned a restaurant for over 40 years. I love that. And she talked about how her dad, really didn't want her to be a chef. He really wanted her to do anything but that, but she loved cooking and she ended up doing it, and her point purpose of being in the competition is to prove that she is an actual professional chef. Something about Gabriella that looks very familiar. If you watch Big Brother, she kinda reminds me of Lisa, but I don't know, y'all tell me if I'm tripping. You tell me if I'm tripping. They were showing the pictures of, like, her and her dad, and one of those pictures, like, especially when she was younger, she just looked so familiar, and so I wonder if, like, she was on, like, one of them OC shows, like, it's something about her face, it's just, like, we've seen her before somewhere, I just have to figure out where. So we are in this level, and unfortunately, when we get to the bottom 2 dishes, it end up coming down to Kevin and Hunter. The problem is Kevin literally had a dish that he should have knocked out the park. He had steak, he had potatoes and mushrooms, and the problem was he was spending all his times on all of these sides and forgot to drop his steak. And so he didn't have enough time to drop his steak. Well, he dropped his steak, but then it didn't have enough time to rest. And so once he cut it, all the juices spilled out and it was just a hot mess. And so we end up losing Kevin in this round. Again, I just feel like Hunter got by on, like, the skin of his teeth, like, I don't know how he made it, but our top dishes out of the middle level kitchen comes from Darian. Shout out to my Jamaican homie. He made this curry cube steak that I literally last night was looking for a recipe. You'll be, interested to know there's actually not a whole bunch of recipes online, especially on YouTube, about cube steak curry. So, Darian, if you listen to this or you know somebody who know him, please let him know I want that recipe because I have been feeding it and I want to make it right now. Connor made these beautiful pork chops. It just had like such beautiful vibration. I'll say vibrational. It was just like a vibrant plate. It was so pretty. And then Cole had this fish with some like a bright salad. When she was searing her fish, Gordon was like, "Oh, beautiful Sia, beautiful Sia." And so I kinda have my prediction for her is that I feel like she's gonna end up on Team Ramsay. Let's go to our top level. And now this is something I thought was interesting because Cole, even though she was featured throughout the whole episode, like, we didn't get to know her story until the last segment when we got to the top level. So it makes me wonder, is Cole gonna be around for a while? You know, like I feel like in the past they would introduce us to players because they're going to like eventually like say for the first segment we'll learn about like Hunter and Belinda, and it's because Hunter, Belinda, and I think it was Kevin, it's because all 3 of them are leaving, so we will learn about them in the beginning half of the episode, and so I'm just wondering, like, does this mean Cole is gonna be around longer? Is she gonna make it to, like, our top 3? Who knows? The top level was all about you had 25 minutes and had to put together a meal that would be worthy enough to put on a restaurant menu. And so we got to meet Cole, who says she's come from a blackly black household, which me too, sister. And she said that she's the life of the party, but she's also a military kid, and that is where, well, a military woman, and that is where her journey began. A lot of times people, they look at her and they're like, who is the executive chef? And she have to remind them, like, like, and so I love Cole. I love her personality. I also love when Gordon was telling them when they're on the top level, like, you are professional chefs for a reason, and your your dishes should look as so. One thing of note, while we were doing this cook, Hunter talked about how he wanted to be on Gordon Ramsay team. And so as he was cooking this last dish, he was talking about how he wanted to have a puree and a beurre blanc or I don't it was y'all know when we get into technical things, I don't know. But basically, Gordon gave him advice like, "Hey, I think you should pivot or you should pick one or the other. And Hunter was just like, well, I don't feel that way. I think you should, you can have whatever you want. And it just made me wonder, like, I don't know if you would have been a good contestant because it's like you clearly said that you wanted to, Chef Gordon to be your mentor, but you don't even listen to him when he's giving you advice. So I thought that that was very interesting. Out of the top of the kitchen, some of my favorite dishes that came out of there was machete. He made this pan-seared chicken. It was so pretty. It was so refined, so different than any other dishes that he put out that it really made me like stop and be like, wow, this man has range. This man is going to be somebody that we need to look out for. Next up was Connor. He put together this beautiful, beautiful steak dish. And another dark horse was Darian. Darian made this venison dish that was just beautiful. It looked restaurant ready. It looked like it was, literally that he can put it out tomorrow. And again, because he was like doing so many like Jamaican forward dishes, I didn't think that he had this level of refinement in him, but we saw that out of the last level. And all right, life advice. So our life advice that we got this week, this typically comes from a chef or it comes from one of the mentors. But this week our life advice comes from actually three people. So the first life advice is coming from Belinda. When Belinda was in the basement, she had this idea that she was going to do a noodle dish. And then I don't know what happened or how this happened. Maybe she ran out of time. Maybe she didn't prep properly. But somewhere in between it, she ended up pivoting. And the minute that she pivot, I feel like she pivot and then she ended up doing something that Connor was already doing. It messed her up. And so it just showed me that, sometimes it's okay to pivot, in life we have to pivot. If something isn't working out, you may need to go another way. But in this instant, I felt like Belinda doubted, like she second guessed herself. And because she second guessed herself, she ended up being the one who ended up leaving this competition. And so my advice to you, even if you're not in a next level competition, is to just trust yourself, trust your vision, see it all the way through. And if it does not work out, then pivot and try something else. Don't pivot in the middle of doing something. Our next advice, I do like the advice to Kevin. No matter what, so I got 40 in. No matter what, like he still just had this bright spirit. He said that he would be okay. He said that I would get another phone call. I love that he was upbeat despite, kind of being in his headspace where he was trying to reignite his passion for cooking and culinary things. So I just think, that's something that we all can take away. No matter what our life is looking at, no matter what things get thrown our way, we need to know that we are going to be okay. And that's so important right now in this current climate. The next advice came from, and I guess I would say like the second to last advice comes from Machete. He said, like, he got these tattoos and these grills so that he can never go back to corporate world. Sometimes that's necessary. I don't know if that's good advice, but I do feel like, you know what? Maybe I should go get a couple more tattoos, or maybe I should go finish like my upper arm sleeve so that I can like really put myself in a mindset that I am an artist and this is what I'm gonna do. There is no going back. I'm not gonna shave my head and put a tattoo on my forehead, but I do think it's something that is so brave and so encouraging about being like, "This is my path. I'm not coming off of it. I'm not going back." Because that's where I'm at. I am like officially retired from corporate America and I'm gonna make this work, whatever this is, this unknown period. I'm gonna get where I need to be. And I'm just trusting that's what's for me will always be for me. Our last advice is coming from Hunter. If you really look up to somebody and if you admire them, if they're giving you advice, listen to them. Don't think that you know best. They are mentors for a reason. You looked up for them for a reason, especially when you are in the midst of doing something or if you're in a competition and they're trying to guide you to make the best decision, trust them. Trust it because it could save you from being eliminated. And then our cooking device, this is different. Cooking device, when you are making a steak, it is so important to not only have like that a good cooking time so that you can get the right temperature, but you have to rest. Literally, because I have watched so many cooking shows, I know like it is ingrained in the back of my head. Like, even If I was to go on a cooking show today, I would know that I need to prep time to make sure that my meat is resting so that all of those beautiful juices can stay inside. Like that's just it's elementary at this point. And it, to me, that anybody who makes that mistake, professional chef or not, is like, damn, you have not seen anything from Gordon Ramsay because that's all he says. He literally says it every single season, like so much that it is ingrained in my head when I make a steak. But that is all I got for you. Oh, last thing, a little pickup on our mentor beef. You know, everybody is so excited to be back. Blaze is on one because he won. It was so funny, his whole thing about the murder of sharks and like, just him just being very silly. But one thing that I loved is that Blaze was talking about how he wanted to have a crown, and Gordon was like, putting the crown on top of that head? I think not." He like walked out of the frame. I just thought that was funny. All of our chefs are very hungry and they're ready for another win, and I'm excited to see how these teams are going to shake up. I hope next week, I really, 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 really hope next week is our social media chefs because I hope Miriam, don't y'all know that lady from Atlanta? I don't know if you know, but I saw her on like the previews. I literally screamed. I've never been so happy to see somebody I know on television, or at least somebody I follow on television. But yeah, so that is my predictions. I think that Gabrielle is not going to be here within 3 weeks of us starting the competition. I think Cole is probably going to end up on Team Blaze, and I think she may fuck around and be our top three. I'm rooting for Connor. I'm rooting for Machete and Darren. I kind of feel like Machete may end up on Chef Arrington's team because she likes like those funny personalities. But we will see. You let me know. What are your predictions? Who do you love? Who's your favorite pro chef? What was your favorite dish? Please comment all down below and I will respond. I will let you know. We are in this together. We're back for another season. And I will be back next week for another episode. I'm really going to try my best to get the episodes out by Monday or Tuesday of the following week. So we will see how that goes. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of editing. So you guys are just going to have to deal with me because I want to make sure I get it out in a timely manner. Until we meet again, dream those dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never, ever, ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. I am Honest Am of the Honestly Sis website. If you want a tarot reading or to learn more about how to become the alchemist of your life, please make sure you check out www.honestlysis.com because I don't just see life lessons and next level chef. I see everything in life. Okay. All right, thank you for helping my dreams come true. Now, get your ass out there and work on your own. I will see you next week for another episode. Bye.